Hello internet, my name is Lave and I caught another film at the BFI London Film Festival. I watched Knives Out, which is the latest film written and directed by Rian Johnson, who you might know as the director of that little sci-fi opera, that little indie flick called Star Wars The Last Jedi. But more on that and on him in a second. For now, let's talk about the premise of his latest, which is about the Thrombey family, a dysfunctional group living off the success of their patriarch Harlan Thrombey, a crime novelist who is found dead shortly after his 85th birthday. So an eccentric detective called Benoit Blanc is mysteriously hired to investigate the family, and he soon suspects foul play. So yeah, it's a good old-fashioned whodunit movie, but before I get into it, let's bring the magnifying glass back onto Rian Johnson for a second, who, as I mentioned, did direct The Last Jedi, which, as I said in my review for that, had a lot of humour in it, which didn't necessarily sit that well with me. Now, I know he has done a comedy caper before in the shape of The Brothers Bloom, which I actually haven't seen, but I have seen his previous features, Brick and Looper, which definitely aren't comedies, they are gritty mood pieces. I know through Brick that he can do a really engaging detective noir story, but I just don't think of him as a writer and director of comedies. But I do now, because this film is freaking hilarious. It has an immediate sense of fun as we are introduced to a whole bunch of despicable characters being interviewed by the police and Detective Blanc, and it's apparent that Rian Johnson knows the tropes and knows the genre and clearly had a blast creating all of these characters, giving all of them time to shine. You immediately suspect all of the characters and understand each of their motivations as you find out who they are and what role they play within the family throughout the generations. The casting in this is brilliant. I totally bought Christopher Plummer as Jamie Lee Curtis's father. Likewise, she's married to Don Johnson and together they have a son, Chris Evans. I mean, that's genius. You can say the same about all of the characters in this. You've also got Michael Shannon, who's playing Jamie Lee Curtis's sister. He himself has a son who's played by the kid from It. Lakeith Stanfield plays one of the cops in the film. You've also got Toni Collette as another character who's married into the family. Ana de Armas plays the family nurse to Christopher Plummer. I could go on forever. The ensemble cast in this is amazing. But the pick of the bunch is undoubtedly Daniel Craig as Blanc, a Hercule Poirot style detective but with a southern accent, which the film and characters poke fun at. The joy of his character and performance stems from the fact that you're never really sure if he understands what's going on. He's a bit of a buffoon at times, but some of the lines that he delivers properly had me roaring with laughter, and I wasn't the only one in my screening. Literally everyone in there was guffawing. It was a real joy. The sense of fun and playfulness is present throughout the entire film, from the cinematography, the production design and overall styling. It's a fantastic blend of old meets new, mostly taking place at the family's stately home, which roots the film in the traditional murder mystery setting with creaky floorboards and secret passageways, but with contemporary trimmings and contemporary characters that drive electric cars and talk about Twitter. And like all good murder mysteries, it's full of twists and turns along the way. I will admit I was a bit surprised at how quickly some of its secrets are revealed, which just left me asking, where is it going to go from here? But you know what? I simply didn't care, because one, I was enjoying the performances and the characters so much, I simply didn't care. And two, I knew that the film would eventually give up all of its secrets, and when it did, it was absolutely hilarious. So that's my thoughts on Knives Out, and pause the video if you want to take a closer look at my enjoyment tracker now. I'll be honest, I think I laughed and had more fun in this film than I did with Taika Waititi's Jojo Rabbit, which is a real surprise. I think there's more variety to the humour. I mean, the script, the screenplay and the dialogue is just laden with them. There's visual gags, there's meta gags, there's running gags, and the performances are hysterical. But then on the flip side to that, I didn't cry in this one like I did in Jojo Rabbit. There isn't any real heart. I didn't care for the characters, but when the film is this entertaining and this much fun, I didn't care. It's such a good romp. But let me know what you thought if you've seen it down in the comments, and what's your favourite murder mystery film. Let me know down below, and as always, thanks very much for checking out this review. I really do appreciate it. If you can, give it a like, and don't forget to share the lave. That's right, I said subscribe.